But ESL provides the platform where students do teamwork, where students take small projects, actually go for field trips. They collect lot of data, analyze the data, then see which idea is feasible, which is not, gets rejected. So all these opportunities are provided by ESL. And what else can we ask? As faculty members interested in seeing students transform, develop leadership skills, good team skills. Okay, it is possible that many of you are dreaming to become entrepreneurs, and there may still be a long way to go before you actually start your own company. All of us may not be fortunate enough to start it immediately after we step out of this campus. But don't let your dream die. My advice is, please keep the dream alive. Today you may not have resources, and if you are willing to take, if you have the guts to take these small risks, there are many schemes which I am sure this platform will help you to become aware of. There are many schemes for budding professionals like you who are interested in having their own startups. And now you all know Andhra Pradesh is the most happening place in the country. With the state bifurcation, lot of entrepreneurs will be needed if we want to grow fast and we want to expand our infrastructure. We want to do so many things. So I'm sure this rapid expansion and building of the state will actually throw up lot of opportunities which you never foresaw.
Professor Sharda Madam has rightly pointed out. So how you are going to learn some of the success stories? So the success stories is one aspect. Second thing, so unless until if you are not taken the what is the conceptual idea and how to promote all these things. So what is the different type of social entrepreneurship? What type of opportunities are existing today? So now the number of e-commerce sites, online businesses are coming. So more than that, so many opportunities will be there. Now the number one, the prioritized area for the entrepreneurship. So now if you start now ideating and how screening your ideas and how you are going to become as a good entrepreneur without much investment, I can have some experience. Food products, food processing units, they are the wonderful opportunities. Even I have heard about one of the entrepreneurs without education also is doing the online, that is providing the milk packets with good quality in Bapatla. So one of our BBM student is explaining. So I am going to visit with some of those who are interested people. So he may get per month 1 lakh also. It is a small business he is doing. There is a good demand for his site. So he has put the website. He is attracting. Everybody is talking. Everybody is thinking about that is the business means only the e-business, only the electronics, and what we are using all these handsets. No, there is a lot of opportunities in agriculture and agriculture entrepreneurship, rural entrepreneurship. Yesterday I have a call from Bay Foundation. It is Asia's largest foundation. Mr. Sivarudrappa is the project director. He has asked me, sir, can you provide 2 candidates, those who are good in social entrepreneurship, to take about their project in Vinukonda and Donakonda. So earlier I have an association with the agri-business projects. They are going to pay the 5 lakhs. Getting 2 lakhs or 3 lakhs you are thinking about. More than that, you can start with the 5 lakhs package with the social entrepreneurship, rural entrepreneurship. That opportunities are existing. There is a watershed development program. Government of AP has already started with the AP skill development. Here also they are, I think our training department has taken a good steps. And also there is a national level NSDC schemes. National skill development programs are existing.
Gnition by itself and ESL for the last 3 years has been doing great work. In fact, kicking off the event, he said, Raja said that people who started ESL are now with large corporates across India. I wish that the next year, who is going to preside, who is going to do the keynote, is going to say that people who are associated with ESL have or grown larger brands in India of their own, but not just work for corporates. Being an entrepreneur, yeah, it's definitely never an easy task. Can somebody just read out that for me? Anybody? I think I would like to simplify it to a very minimal definition. I think an entrepreneur is a doer. I think there's a lot of people who try to do stuff, but the people who do things are entrepreneurs. Because it requires a lot of courage, it requires a lot of patience. As ma'am said, it's not an easy job, nothing happens overnight. But things that are required to be an entrepreneur, I think, is to be a doer, right? Stop thinking, start doing. Well, I think a lot of people have told you a lot about entrepreneurship, but there are some harsh facts that you all need to know. If you want to become an entrepreneur, be ready to fail. If people told you that no, you're not going to fail, it's going to be good. If people told you that failure will hit you so hard that you can't get up and move ahead, don't believe them. I think today, this is the best time for you guys to fail. Now and here is the best time for you guys to fail, because you are in such a cushioned ecosystem. You are in a place where the e-cell is going to handhold you. Even if you guys are going to flat fall on your face, you have a cell, you have professors like these who are going to help you to get up, get sprinting again. So I think if any of you, I'm sure, if is a bad word, all the people here, whatever idea you have, be it small or big, make sure that you sow the seed of implementation right today in your first year, so that by the time you go to third or fourth years, you see the result, you see the sprouts coming out, and you know that after your graduation, you know whether you would want to take it full time or do you want to give some time to, working in a corporate environment and then come back. That's the decision that you can take then. But if you're going to decide whether you want to start something in your third or fourth year, it's going to be much difficult. I mean, with a cell like eCell and with a ecosystem like Gnition, I think you guys should make best use of this and just go ahead and not fear about failing. So networking is very important. What do you define a network as? A little louder? Sharing of information. Yeah, so let me simplify that too. A network is just the people you know. Just the people whom you can talk to, who is available for you over a phone call or an SMS or a instant message communication. Having this network is very important if you want to be an entrepreneur, because the network is going to give you the reach that would never be possible if you're doing it as an individual. Networks are what make people thrive. I was just told about people from Gnition being participating in events like Jagrati Yatra. Jagrati Yatra is one journey that I took back in 2008. And the kind of network that Jagrati Yatra made me, helped me develop. Today I know at the call of the press of a button and over a call, I can reach good people. How many have you heard of Zomato? Zomato? Okay, so Zomato is a food delivery service that started back in 2006 and now they are a very famous startup in the Indian ecosystem. How many of you have heard of Redbus? Yeah, I was told Funny he studied in the Intermediate College of Gnition. So I'm not sure about if it is true, but I was told that. I could talk to people like Fanindra and I could talk to people like Deepinder Goyal, the founder of Zomato, only because of the networks that places like Jagrati Yatra or other places where I was a part of. It's only because of networking in places like those I was able to have a reach to reach those people who are there at the helm of affairs for startups like Zomato or Redbus. So I think network, learn from every person you meet, and I'm sure everybody has something new to offer. Learning is always a mutual process. You cannot think this person will not be able to teach me something. There's definitely some kind of the learning that you're going to get from everybody. As an entrepreneur or a would-be entrepreneur, it's important that you learn the best and leave out the rest. Well, travel. While you learn from every person that you meet, it's also important to learn from every place that you go. Today I've come to Gnition. I got to learn so much from people here, the place itself. I have never been to this part of, I've never taken the road from Guntur to Tenali before. So today I was sitting and very curiously watching, looking out of the window like a child. That's what you learn when you travel, right? And for you, it's important, if you want to be an entrepreneur, to learn from travel, because you want to go to various places where you don't know what the place is going to be. You probably have to go and present there. You probably have to go and sell there. So it's important that you be very comfortable with every place you go and imbibe something out of every place that you go to. And I see, as freshmen, I'm sure all of you are very hesitant to ask questions. How many of you are hesitant to ask questions here? How many of you have the fear of public speaking? That's it? Everybody else can come onto the stage right now? Can you? So, no, how many of you are really scared of public speaking? Let's be honest. Yeah, so apparently, after death, public speaking is the second most feared thing across the globe. So there's no surprise that you guys are scared. 97% of people are scared of public speaking. So this is how you overcome. Ask questions. Keep asking as many questions as you can to your peers, to your professors, to your mentors. Do not ever think they're going to think, what a stupid question. Let them think it's a stupid question. So that they're going to tell you on the face that, dude, this is a stupid question. So that you're not going to ask that question to somebody else. It's better to be a fool in front of your own professor than to be a fool in front of 1,000 people. Right? So just keep asking as many questions as you can. I think for every entrepreneur, the basic rule, the golden rule is that you have to be your product. If you shy away from speaking about what you want to do, what you're trying to do, there's no way that you can succeed further, because you, at the end of the day, are the first salesperson your company or your brand is going to have. So in a way, you should be shameless to talk about what you're doing. You should promote yourself. Right now, I'm not doing that, but you'll see me doing that through the presentation later. But it's very important, because if you expect somebody else to talk about your product, that's never going to happen. Nobody will have the vision, the mission, or the zeal about your product, because it's your product at the end of the day. It's your baby. You have to live the dream. So be your product. Each of you are the first salesperson that your idea has. So let me narrow it down to an idea. Let me not even just say a company, because companies down the line. You can just have an idea. Everybody might be having an idea. Just try executing it before you complete your first year. You might learn something out of it. Try again in the second year. These 4 years that you're going to have here are the best times that you can ever get to experiment. I can give this in writing. I've learned from experience, I'm telling you that. And a lot of us have this issue, all of us think that, oh my God, I'm not good at English. I probably cannot go and pitch. Today that has completely changed. Today you really need not be good in a particular language. All you need to be good is in your own language, speak the language of your own product. Today vernacular has changed the way things are dealt with completely. I'll tell you a very classic example. Through Jagrati Yatra, we used to do CNBC debates in 6 cities across India, and I used to volunteer for that. There was one person called Anand Kumar. There's this organization called Super 30 in Bihar. For the last 12 years, Anand Kumar takes 30 people from not so well-to-do backgrounds, and he trains them for IIT. The record has been that over the last 12 years, every person, all the 30 people get into an IIT. So he has a very good track record of that, and he charges a very minimal fees. He's doing it more as a social enterprise. When we invited him to come and speak on a CNBC national television conference, he told on sitting on the panel, he said, मैं हिंदी में बात करूंगा, आपको कोई ऐतराज है तो मैं उतर जाऊंगा, स्टेज मुझे इंग्लिश नहीं आती. And trust me, his speech, he said, I'm going to speak in Hindi. If you have a problem, please let me know, I'll get off the panel. Trust me, among all the panelists sitting there, among the elite, let's say we had people from Tata Groups and Tata Chemicals and stuff, his conversation with the panel and with the public was the most touching, because he told people what he was doing. He told people the dream that he was living, and people were able to connect with it. So today, I think the barrier of not knowing English, or probably not being great at English, is no more even existent. If at all any of you have that in mind, I think it's time to erase that. Vernacular has always been more stronger than English, and that's where it ends, period. I think one trait that every entrepreneur must have is you should be humble. Take every advice that comes your way with a lot of humility and grace. People might tell you that your product is not good. If you're talking to your investors, leave alone investors. If you're talking to your e-cell members tomorrow, you might have an idea. You might come and pitch to them. They might tell you, no, this won't work. Let them tell you. There will be some people, your professors will give you advice to how to tweak that, how to make it workable, how to make it better. Take that. Take every advice that comes your way. Be very humble, but be arrogant. Listen to your own heart. Don't let anybody ever tell you can't do it. If you really believe in it, if your heart says yes, you can do it, you definitely will be able to do that. Don't let anybody ever tell you a no, because the way you are going to execute it is completely going to be different from the way they are going to execute it, right? It's getting boring, I understand that. No, don't worry, I have my contingency plans. So, you think being arrogant is good? Yes? Yes? So, can you be arrogant about telling me that yes, being arrogant is good? Yes? Okay, let me test your arrogance for a while. Tell me which of the two lines is longer? Quick. Both are same? Okay, your arrogance is one. Wow. Yeah, so that's just, So what I mean to convey here is, while you can be arrogant, don't be foolish. You should know your rules well, right? Let's try one more time. Can you try to read that? How could you tell that? Because there's a mind, there's a subconscious level of your mind that's already telling you that you can read that, no matter half of it is not seen. Correct? Correct? Well, arrogance is not always good. So know your roots. You should always know where you are. Be arrogant, be humble, don't be foolish. Be foolish when you're hungry, but don't be foolish just if you're not hungry. I don't want to counter Steve Jobs. Yeah, and as ma'am was telling, patience is a very important virtue if you want to be an entrepreneur. There are going to be so many testing times, so many occasions that your patience is going to be tested to the T. You'll literally be broke. You'll literally be just one more word and you'll cry. But that's what matters. Persistence, being patient is very, very, very important for success. Because not everybody who started has done things overnight, right? I'll again take the example of Redbus. Do you know why Redbus was founded? Do you know the story behind that? So Fanindra Sama used to live in Bangalore along with 4 more flatmates. They used to work in Texas Instruments. They wanted to come home for Diwali. And Fani was left out there in Bangalore. He said, I'm not going. And all of a sudden he somehow wanted to go to Diwali go home because nobody was there and Bangalore was empty. Everybody went home. He went from place to place, from Hosur to Hebbal to Koramangala, everywhere. There was not a single ticket. That's when he thought, probably if we integrate all of these buses onto one single platform and automate that, probably I can solve this problem. And how long did it take for him to put the whole thing into place? Not overnight, right? He spent more than a year. All of them spent time together and then they built a product and then which was not immediately successful. So I still remember when I met Fani, he was talking and he was like, the first ticket that they sold was for a bus from Bangalore to Tirupati. And all 4 of them by themselves went to deliver that one single ticket to the lady who bought it. And they thanked her so much. Because the first customer, right? The first customer is very precious. And even after that, they took a long time. Do you know about Alibaba, right? I mean, we just talk about Alibaba. Jack Ma, do you know his application to Stanford was rejected more than 10 times? He applied, he kept on applying. Every time he was rejected. Did he lose faith? If he lost faith, today they wouldn't be world's number one. Alibaba wouldn't have been world's number one e-commerce marketplace. Right? So persistence is very important. So never ever lose faith. If you think things are not working, sleep over it. Wake up the next day and wake up with the same zeal that I can do it. That's very important. And what happens with a lot of entrepreneurs is that when they want to start something, they don't define goals. They just think, okay, let's do something. And it's important to define goals and it's important to have timelines, because if you go in a direction without having any checklist or if you don't have any milestones to meet, you might take time, it's going to be eternity. You will not have something. So you will not be hitting anything. You will not be able to cross-question yourself. You will not be able to introspect saying, okay, am I doing the right thing in the right time, right frame of timeline that I have defined. So define your goals very clearly. Assign your deadlines. These are going to be very important for you. Well, when you talk about goals and deadlines, we are in the process. In the last 8 months, we have set ourselves some goals. We have given ourselves some deadlines. And I should say we fairly managed to hit all of those, because my co-founder Arpita is not here. And trust me, today is the best time to be a woman entrepreneur. I mean, to all the women sitting here, it's the best time of the century to be a woman entrepreneur, because the government is giving you so many SOPs. The whole ecosystem is giving you such a beautiful push. If you have an idea and if you're serious about it, this is the day, this is the time to try and execute it. Do not fear failure, do not fear what's going to come ahead. At least try, experiment. As I said again, these 4 years, spend time experimenting. So we aim to be India's first complete student networking platform where we have everything that the student needs in one place. If you are looking for jobs, internships, campus events, student discounts, online resume generators, peer-to-peer discussions. These sound a lot, right? Some of our investors have asked us, why so many? Why can't you just focus on one? We used to think, there were times when we went back and we didn't have sleepless nights. We used to text in the night and say, are we going in the right direction? Are we doing it right? But then when we saw that students were taking everything that's being offered here, we said, why should we listen to the investor? Why shouldn't we listen to what the student wants? Because that's our first level of validation for us. And then in the last 8 months that YoGrad has went live, we have close to 12,800 plus students, users, who are enrolled on yograd.com and who are active. And we have 227 companies that have posted internships or jobs on our portal. We are active in 24 cities of India. We have already, till date, we have successfully, for the 227 companies that have registered, we were able to find candidates for 246 internships and jobs together. We have more than this 8,000 plus regular users who are coming up month on month to us. So out of the 13,000 students we have on our platform, 8,000 people keep coming back to us. I think that's a very good ratio for us. So in the last 8 months, we had goals for ourselves and we could scale. Probably we wouldn't have been able to scale to this level if we did not have goals for ourselves. And it's very important that you go into your own introspective mode. You should know what you're doing, right? Don't let anybody else question you, but you should question your own self every day. Before you hit bed, you should ask, okay, have I done what I have to do today? The next day when you wake up, you should ask, am I doing the right thing today? And if it is, what am I doing? And make sure this checks there at every part of your life. As YoGrad, we very passionately work with students because we see thank you, sir, for joining us. Engineering and Management Dean has just joined us. Thank you so much. As YoGrad, we are very passionate to empower the students because we see that the problem that is there in the student set is that all of you, when you join college and after you pass out, how many of you are able to track your professional growth is a question that I can't ask you now. But if you ask this question yourself after 4 years, if there was no YoGrad, then you would have said, I should have probably tracked what I did on a better scale. Through YoGrad, what we are trying to do is we are trying to gamify the whole process of building your professional network online. So how many of you have heard of LinkedIn? I see 2 hands that went up. LinkedIn, okay, 3. LinkedIn is a platform for professionals to network, find jobs. But for you, you guys are not yet professionals, right? So if you are going onto LinkedIn, there's nothing that you can put up there, the experience and stuff. But we realize we have to plug the gap before you go onto LinkedIn. If you're not tracking what you've done in these 4 years of your engineering, and after your graduation is when you track your professional growth, you've lost on 4 years. So we are trying to help students track their professional growth online, come onto YoGrad, find prospective internships, jobs, you can interact with students on peer-to-peer discussions. There are communities and clubs that are available where there are clubs on photography, art, literature, music, MBA versus MS. So these clubs are created by the users themselves. So you go there, you interact. Today you're sitting here in Guntur, from Vignan, you're interacting with somebody else from Bangalore. Probably you're interacting with somebody else from SPJ in Mumbai or somebody from Delhi University, Delhi. So this diversity is what is very important for you to get a perspective apart from what you get in the college. Right? So that is the peer-to-peer networking that we are very strongly offering on YoGrad, and probably that's the reason we have a lot of people coming back to us. Campus events, not just campus events. We do a lot of events. We do workshops for students in various campuses. In Hyderabad on 29th and 30th of August, there's a Airtel Hyderabad marathon happening. So it is a 46-kilometer marathon and a half marathon. For that, this year, Yograd, in fact even last year and this year, Yograd is the official student partners, and we help the whole of the organizing team with 2,500 student volunteers. 2,500 student volunteers encouraging people who are running the marathon throughout the 46-kilometer stretch. People generally who run the marathon, they come from overseas. People fly out from other cities, fly from overseas. There are professional athletes. And then when you get to meet them, when you get to know the organizational front of it, there's a lot that you're learning, right? Otherwise you wouldn't know how an event is conducted. But being a volunteer, you'll know how an event is conducted and stuff. So these kinds of events that we do offline are helping students hone their skill at least by 5 to 10% in one step. We have student discounts online. We have brands offering student discounts to students that they can redeem and stuff. These are the fun aspects too, right? If you make it a boring platform that you're only going to come to update your project work and stuff, it might not work. So we have all kinds of, and online resume generator, very interestingly, is one feature that we've never thought will be taken so well. What we do is in the 4 years of your engineering now, I'm sure a lot of you will face, if you ask third years and fourth years now, preparing your resumes would be one of a Herculean task. You would not be really sure if you're doing it in the right format or not. At that point in time, imagine if somebody gives you a ready-made resume of all that you've done. How is it going to be? You need not do anything. You need not tell people what you have done, what your achievements are. But you just go somewhere and they just say, hey, this is what you did in the last 4 years, take your resume. This is a standard industry-driven format, industry-certified format, send it to an employer. Wouldn't it be easy for you? Third years, wouldn't it be easy for you if somebody gave you a resume? So this was one feature that we discovered by, serendipity we call it. We discovered it while we were working. Because all of you are on the platform and we track your user behavior, we were able to generate a resume for you. And these resumes are directly sent out to the employers. So that's one of the basic, very good perk that we identified that the students need. Apart from that, as I told you, peer-to-peer discussions is something that Yograd is really buzzing about. So, more about Yograd, less about Yograd and more about what you guys want to do. How many of you sitting today here have entrepreneurial aspirations? Something, it need not be floating a company. How many of you want to do something different or something by your own? I think that's a very good number. Whether you're going to do it or not is completely in your hands. That's your call. But it's good that at least there's a seed that's somewhere sitting in the back of your mind that you would want to do it. And if you help eCell nurture it for you, I'm sure they're going to do that and you're going to take it a large way ahead. So we were able to have our own deadlines and we are scaling the way we expected. So I think a lot of people have called us a lone nut. They said, what are you trying to do? Why are you trying to do this? You might not be able to succeed. It might be anybody. But we have been a lone nut. Like this guy. This guy is just dancing. I couldn't show you the video because of internet issues, so I just have some pictures. This guy has been trying to just dance somewhere on a grass meadow. He has been dancing for like 5 minutes, 10 minutes. Look at him. People are looking at him like, what's he doing? He's a nut, right? And then after a while, there's one more guy who joined him. He's the first follower. And your first follower is very important for you because the followers should also become a leader. So that's when there are 2 leaders. When you're 2 leaders, the team's going to grow faster, right? And after a while, there are some more people who join him. So this is all a video actually. I couldn't show you the video, but if you see, this guy is just dancing, happy-go-lucky. People are just staring at him after a while, few people join. And then this is the turning point for him. This is the tipping point. When there are more people coming and joining you. As an entrepreneur, I look at it as more people coming and appreciating what we are doing. Right? So there are more people who are coming and joining you. That's the turning point for you. The tipping point is when you have so many people coming and dancing with you. Right? So you know you are being successful. So there are still people who are going to sit and who are going to tell you, no, you're still going to fail, you're still going to fail. Just keep doing what you're doing. Have persistence, have perseverance. Just keep doing what you're doing. Eventually, all of them will join you. Right? Do not fear to be the lone nut that you are. Do not let anybody tell you that you cannot do something. Let your heart decide whether you want to do it or not. But the moment you decide you want to do it, give it your 150% because there's no looking back. Just go ahead, keep moving ahead. You might fail, but you have an ecosystem here that's going to help you get up, scale better, run faster, and achieve more pace. Just believe in your own self. That's what entrepreneurs are all about. Believing in themselves and doing it. Go ahead and do. That's what you can have lessons from everywhere in all forms of life. You had just had a leadership lesson from a shirtless dancing guy. If a shirtless dancing guy could give you a leadership lesson, I sometimes wonder why am I even wearing anything.